All 8 John Wick characters who would help John in a war against the High Table, the John Wick franchise, could be headed toward an epic showdown between John and the High Table. But Keanu Reeves' stoic assassin won't be alone in the fight. Despite the shocking ending to Chapter 4, John Wick, Chapter 5 seems to be going ahead, which has fueled fan theories that it will see John escalating his vendetta against the High Table. It remains to be seen how the franchise will write around John's apparent death, but anything is possible at this stage. The future of the John Wick franchise seems bright, with several spin-offs potentially in development, starting with this summer's Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. The franchise has created several unforgettable characters who have already fought alongside John, and this could indicate how John's team might shape up if he decides to take his feud with the High Table to a new level. He could call on assassins and other allies from across the globe. Winston is one of John's closest allies from the very beginning, and he's there right until the end, paying his respects at John's grave at the end of Chapter 4. Winston's role as the manager of the New York Continental means that he has to abide by a strict set of rules, and he can only help John so much when he breaks one of the most sacred rules of the Continental and becomes excommunicado. It's fair to say that Winston and John's relationship has had its ups and downs, but Chapter 4 shows that Winston is willing to stick by John in his hour of need. He even puts his own life on the line in the duel with the Marcus, so he would likely back John against the High Table, no matter the cost. He has the added motivation that the High Table killed Karen, his trusted friend and concierge, so he may be out for an extra dose of revenge. Fans of The Matrix were treated to a reunion when Lawrence Fishburne joined the cast of John Wick. Chapter 2. In the same way that Morpheus is a guide for Neo, the Bowery King has always been a staunch ally to John Wick. He would certainly be there once again if John needed help taking down the High Table. Although he's not a fighter, he often supplies John with weapons, tailored bulletproof suits, or other help. The Bowery King isn't the only John Wick character with an alias, but he's the only character who seems as though he may not even have a real name. He's an impish character who seems to operate on a different plane of existence, which allows him to directly contribute to the story while still commenting on it as if he's sitting alongside the audience. His constant sense of humor and impervious facade are akin to Shakespeare's Puck or other mischievous metafictional characters. Although Aurelio doesn't play a major part in either of the first 2 John Wick movies, it's worth noting that he's part of a small club of characters with multiple appearances. John's trusted mechanic is more than meets the eye, since he clearly understands the world of John Wick, including the nature of John's work and the powers of the Tarasov crime family. This doesn't stop him from standing up for John when he could get hurt. Aurelio is one of a few minor characters John comes across in his travels who clearly have some semblance of loyalty and affection for him. He's one piece of the puzzle that is John's life as an assassin, even though we only see John in his retirement. If John were to go to war with the High Table, Aurelio is representative of the kinds of allies who might come out of the woodwork to help in any way possible. It's revealing that John travels to the Osaka Continental when he's in need of help in Chapter 4. This speaks to the relationship he shares with Shimazu Koji, the hotel's manager. Indeed, Koji commits to protecting John by any means necessary, even though his daughter Akira initially protests. Eventually, Akira comes around to joining her father and John, so it's possible that she would do so again if John took on the High Table. John will need some other fighters on his side if he wants to defeat the High Table, and Akira is one of the most skilled assassins in the franchise. She shows that she has a broad range of skills, although she clearly excels at hand-to-hand combat. After the High Table's actions caused the death of her father, it's likely she'll be willing to join the fight, potentially brining her allies from the Osaka Continental with her. The one problem with having Akira on John's side is that she clearly has unfinished business with Kane. The post-credit scene of Chapter 4 shows her approaching him on the street with a knife in hand before a dramatic cut to black. Of course, Cain would likely be at the top of the list of John's potential allies if he were to take the fight to the high table, as the two assassins seem to share a rich history together. Although they find themselves locked in head-to-head combat in Chapter 4, John and Cain are clearly old friends who have both given their lives to the high table and received nothing in return. Their shared resentments could fuel them to stage a rebellion, and John could certainly use a man of Cain's skills. Whatever happens, the upcoming Cain spinoff will bring back one of the franchise's best characters. The John Wick franchise has a few great one-off characters, but Sophia is one who should return at some point. It feels as though there's definitely a lot more for her to give, due to her history with John and her status as an outsider. Although she originally seems quite hostile to John's presence, she honors his marker, and the two turn out to be a great team, along with her trained attack dogs. There's a lot of mystery surrounding Sophia, especially with regard to the nature of her relationship with John. Many people are glad to see him when he shows up after years away, but Sophia is different. Still, she's another character who has clearly suffered under the rule of the high table, so John could probably convince her to join the fight. She would be another great asset for her combat skills. Nobody, or Tracker, as he is also known, is another enigmatic assassin who crosses paths with John. When the Marquis puts a large bounty on John's head in Chapter 4, Nobody is one of dozens of assassins who comes in search of the reward. He's clearly a cut above most other hitmen in the trade, and he has the confidence to bide his time and wait for the bounty to keep ticking up, even killing rival assassins who get in his way. Although Nobody always has a professional respect for John, he develops a much deeper and more personal attachment after John saves his dog's life. This links to John's own story in the first movie, and it's the kind of move that could inspire some loyalty if Nobody were to join the fight against the high table. Although he seems content to operate within the system, this near miss could make him question a few things. Angelica Houston is set to reprise her role as the director in From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, which comes as a welcome piece of news. The director is a mother figure to John, and it seems that she helped train him for his life as an assassin with the Ruska Roma. She displays a lot of affection and concern for John, so she could join him in his war against the high table. The director's main asset as an ally would be her command of the Ruska Roma and the legions of highly trained assassins that come with them. Hopefully, Ballerina will reveal some more about her character and the inner workings of the Ruska Roma, and it could even set up a bigger role for her in the future of the franchise. John couldn't take on the high table alone, but with the director's help, he would be able to call upon a small army.